I keep hearing that you need a restorative practice. The inner child is coming through heavily right now. And I know that for a lot of you, you're experiencing like some blocks. Interesting, I've got the Peacemaker, which is like the King of Cups, the back of the deck. You're getting really like well acquainted with your emotions and how to handle them effectively and utilize them, process them, like use them to your highest good. Interesting, I've got my shapeshifter here when I split the deck. A lot of you have a shapeshifter energy, which is like the ability to be, do, have anything. And this is kind of like chaotic. And also, again, I've been getting heavy inner child stuff coming through lately. That like your inner child wants to be a lot of different things, and you're kind of having to battle the emotions of like doing and becoming everything that you said you were going to be, everything that you really want to do. And to circle back, there's a restorative practice that is coming through that a lot of you have no issue going after your goals. That it's not the discipline of doing that is difficult for you. You know, you may hit your challenges and you'd be like, oh, like I don't want to do this, but then like you will walk in and you will get it done. It's more of the taking a step back. Like you will go until you burn out, and that is actually your disciplinary piece, is disciplining yourself to stop and take a step back. You don't have any issue going after your goals. Yeah, the shore here, this is like the Tower in the traditional deck, again with the shapeshifter coming out. That you, like, this is you, your energy is like exploding everywhere, going towards your goals, and it's causing a Tower moment in your life where you go so hard that you burn out, and you've been like battling this. For a lot of you, where you're so like gung-ho with your energy, you get frustrated very quickly about things like not going your way or not going as quickly as you would like them to see, because in your mind you're like, I'm putting all of my energy into this, why isn't it giving back everything? And it's like a process of, you know, it's like I just saw a woman with a child, like, you know, you make the baby, you know, you give birth to the baby, and then you raise it. It's not like, oh, now that you don't give birth to an 18-year-old, you know, like you give birth to an infant and then you nurture it and raise it. And that's sort of like what your dreams, goals, and desires. Interesting. Again, the shapeshifter keeps coming out. That this is like your inner child energy of like, I want it all and I want it all right now. Like, you know how kids are with the impatience and that sort of thing. It's putting you into this despair energy with this 5 of Lotuses, which is where your restorative practice comes in. I keep like circling around. I'm not getting to the damn point. I keep hearing like somatic yoga. There's where you put so much energy into what you do. Now you need a restoration practice. I'm seeing. It was interesting, the visual I got when I was meditating on this message was a kid going up to the deli and getting a piece of cheese. And it was like, do that as an adult. And I get it, like you can get free samples, but it's that kind of thing where it's tap into that side of you that just did stuff for shits and giggles. Like, you know, there was like an image of a grown adult like going to a restaurant pretending it's their birthday just to see if they'd give you a free dessert. Like that kind of thing. Like stuff you do as a teenager thinking like you're pushing bounds. Like, or like in middle school, you know, it's like that kind of like really childish energy that's coming through. Interesting, yeah, 3 of Lotuses. This is like celebrating like friendship, that kind of thing. Like what would you do with your friends? Like what was fun with you then? That kind of thing. Like go have a little bit of fun. There's a restoration practice that is coming through here, that you have no issues going after your goals, and you're actually creating blocks in your life. By being so laser focused on what needs to happen. And I get it, like, you know, the real world is here. It feels like it's closing around you. You have responsibilities, you have things you need to do, all of that. And it's like, your response to it is like, oh, I need to be even more responsible. I need to go even harder at my goals. I need to like control. And it's like, you're actually being asked to take your hands off for a little while. Like, you know, kids would just do things and believe like, oh, you know, I'll just ask and see what happens, and then they get it. It's like that kind of thing where you need to take your hands off a little bit and just go have some fun. I'm seeing someone like drawing, like sketching, painting. If you're creative, it's not something that you do for money. So if you paint for money, like go do something else. But definitely yoga was coming in very heavily. So a lot of you in my collective, yoga is something that you may need to pick up. or just should, like having a yoga practice is actually going to like ground you in a way that you really need, especially if you are like me and you like really like intense or like high impact kind of activities, or like intense activities. Then something needs to come through where, I mean, obviously yoga is challenging, but it's more, it restores your body. It's not so much output, it's like you pouring into your body, and that you need to have a restorative practice for everything that you do in your life. So, okay, this card just wants to stay out, this shapeshifter. That it's, you can be, do, have whatever it is that you want, but you need to support this energy where it's all going out. This is, you know, everything's kind of like coming out of this one center, and you need to pour into that center a little bit if you want to sustain this, because that's part of it. You feel like you get into a burnout, which then leads to like depression and despair. 555 on my timer. That could be significant for you. There are changes that you are currently going through. And like this burnout activity is making things seem so much worse. Laser focusing on the goal, like yes, you need to have your goal in mind, but it's like climbing a mountain. And it's like you just started and you're focusing on the peak instead of just taking one step at a time. And it's frustrating you. So you need to have something where you can get out of the ego. That's really what's coming through. Get out of the ego and just like go back to like play mode. And you need to ideally set aside time every day to do this, but if you can't set aside every day, then at least once a week. It has to be at least once a week to just tap into like that joyful side of you, because for a lot of you, interesting, there's like destination happiness that's coming through, that you're refusing to see the good in the now if things aren't working out the way that you think that you want them to. And it's like whatever goal, whatever that thing is that you think you're trying to attain isn't going to mean that much. It's like when you get to the top of the mountain, it's like great, you have the view, you made it to the top, you know, but then you climb back down and like go back up to your life. That sort of thing is that you're overinflating the goal in your mind, and you're taking away all of the good things in your life to focus on this one thing. You're putting all of this energy towards this like goal that you have, and it's like spread your energy out. This is like energy going in all different places. Spread it out to a restorative practice. This Two of Embers is like planning and decision making. So you're kind of in a planning phase of like what you want to do next with whatever you're growing, like wherever you're going, and that it's actually this restorative practice is going to allow ideas to flow through. That it's like when you're a kid and you're bored, you get like the best ideas, or like when you're playing and you're like, oh my God, you know, what if we did this instead? It's when you're working on something that it allows, like working on something creatively and joyously and freely, that allows like these good things to come through. That there's a lot of playtime energy that is coming through here in a restorative practice for your body. Especially if you do a lot that demands a lot of you physically and mentally. So this is your sign to like let things go, especially where we've got this full moon tomorrow, the 19th. I've been seeing it as kind of like a self-care moon, and it's like a lot's going to be released so you can call a lot of good in, and it's like the enjoyable parts of life that you're calling in. So in order to call it in, you have to align with that energy, and aligning with that energy is through play, is through finding things to enjoy. And I'm hearing for some of you, it's like you're like, oh well, I don't have a lot, I don't know how to make these things happen, like I don't know like how to access these like joyful things. And it's like I said, like, oh, go to a restaurant and see if you can get them to give you a free dessert. It's like tap into your inner child of like, well, what's the worst that could happen? And I'm getting for some of you, it's like if you have pencils or if you have a pen at home and a scratch pad, like you can draw. YouTube has yoga videos. It's like you have access to free things that are enjoyable. You just kind of have to search for them. Especially if you haven't been in that headspace for so long, you've been like laser focused on what you're doing. It's like, it's time to take a step back and see the bigger picture of like, why am I here? You know, like I need to have a little more fun and ease up a little bit. So if this resonates with you, let me know. Yeah, get out of this despair energy. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can head to the link at the top of my page. They're in my Etsy shop, and also check out my Substack while you're there. Thanks, guys.